everybody. I hope everyone had a great week. Welcome to week 30 of our class. What we're going to be learning about today is 3 pretty tough lessons. So I hope everyone's got their thinking caps on and it's got all their math brain cells all warmed up. We're going to be talking about how to multiply 3-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers, including ones that have money in them. We're also going to be learning about adding mixed numbers and reducing the answer. And finally, we'll learn more about equivalent fractions. Let's get started. Okay, the first problem we're going to do is $6.09 times 38. So first of all, we're going to multiply by the ones place. So I'm going to cover up the 3. 9 times 8 is 72. It's 2 ones and 7 tens. 0 times 8 is 0, plus 7 is 7. 6 times 8 is 48, and since there's nothing after that, I can write the whole thing. So $6.09 times 8 is $48.72. Now we're going to multiply by 30. Since we're multiplying by 30 and not 3, it's going to end in a 0. I'm going to scribble these out. You guys can erase, but since I'm doing mine in marker so y'all can see better, I can't do that. 3 times 9 is 27. 0 times 3 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 3 times 6 is 18. And since there isn't any more, I can go ahead and write the whole thing. Now I add. 7 plus 7 is 14. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 2 is 11. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. So the answer is $231.42. Now I want you guys to try this one. We're going to do $8.43 times 51. I know this is a tough problem, so if anyone needs help, feel free to ask me.
Okay, so that goes there. And then, what do I do? Mrs. Haynes!
I'm coming, Dot. Okay, let's see what we've got.
I don't know what to do next.
Okay, well you did a great job with the beginning part. You did $8.43 times 1 and you got 843. Now we're going to multiply the 5 next. Is that really a 5 or is it a 50?
No, it's a 50.
It's a 50, so we always put a what?
0.
A 0. And next what we're going to do is we're going to say what's 5 times 3?
5 times 3 is 15.
So I'll put a 5 there and we'll carry the 1. What's 4 times 5?
4 times 5, oh that's easy, that's 20.
Plus 1 is 21. And then 8 times 5?
8 times 5 is 40.
And 40 plus 2 is?
42.
And what are we going to do with those two numbers?
Add them.
Add them, great. And so I'll go ahead and do this just to speed things up. Okay, and since there's, oh, I almost forgot, you forgot to put the dollar sign, so I'm going to add that. If there's a dollar sign in the question, does there need to be a dollar sign in the answer?
Absolutely.
Okay, and do we need a decimal point?
Yes.
Okay, and since it's dollars and cents, we know cents is always tens place and ones place, we'll put it there. So $8.43 times 51 is $429.93.
Wow, that is so much money. Thank you so much for your help, Mrs. Haynes.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm glad I was able to help Dot with that. Let's move on to our second topic of the day. We're going to learn how to add fractions, which we've already done, first of all, but then we're going to do something with the answer. So this is 2/3 plus 2/3. First of all, the main thing you need to know about adding and subtracting fractions is you can only do it if the denominators are an exact match, because they have to be the same size. And this is in thirds, so we're going to go ahead and write thirds. So, and then you add the numerators. So if you had 2/3 plus 2 more thirds, you would have 1, 2, 3, 4 thirds. Now, this is the right answer. The number is right, but there's something that you're going to have to do from now on, and that's called reducing the fraction or reducing it to a mixed number. Now, since the 4 is bigger than the 3, we talked about this a few weeks ago. That's called an improper fraction, and we have to divide. And if you can do this in your head, great, but if not, it's okay to write it. 4 divided by 3, it goes in one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Remainder 1, and so it's 1 remainder 1. So the answer when we do this is going to be 1 is going to be the whole number. The remainder becomes the numerator, and what we divided by becomes the denominator. So 4/3 equal 1 1/3. Okay, let's do another one. This time we're going to do 3/4 minus 2/4. So we have matching denominators, so we know our answer is going to have the same denominator. And 3 minus 2, that's easy, that's 1/4. And this one actually doesn't reduce, so we're done. Okay, let's try another one. 4 3/4 plus 6 1/4. So now we have mixed numbers. So just like when we're adding, we do the fraction and then the ones and then the tens and then the hundreds. So we work from right to left. So 3/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4. 4 plus 6 is 10. So we have 10 and 4/4. But 4/4 is the same as what? It's the same as 1. So 10 and 4/4 is like 10 plus 4/4, which is like 10 plus 1, which is 11. Okay. Now we have 8 and 3/6 minus 3 and 1/6. So we do the fractions first. They both have 6 in the denominator, so we know our answer is going to have 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 minus 3 is 5. Now we're going to do something. Now you've got to recognize this is something we did last week, equivalent fractions. If there's a smaller number that we can reduce this to, we should. So the 5 stays the same. 2 and 6 are both even numbers. So that means I can divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 1/3. So 2/6 is the same as 1/3. So our final answer is 5 1/3. And that's the end of the second lesson. Now we're going to do the third lesson. The third lesson is 115. And this is going to learn how to change it with the denominator. Okay, we're getting started again. I had a little camera glitch, but hopefully we'll be okay. This is lesson 115. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning how to change fractions to larger denominators. So we have 1/8, and we need to know what fraction is the exact same amount as 1/8 that has a denominator of 24. So the first thing you do is you copy the first fraction, then a times sign, another fraction. So basically this is going to be the intermediate step to be able to get to here. Since these two are the same as each other, the only number that you can multiply by anything by and get the very same amount is the number 1. So we know this has to be the same as the number 1. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we've got to figure out the bottom. 8 times something equal 24. So think about your 8 times tables, and then you realize that 8 times 3 is 24. Now we've got to make the fraction the same as the number 1. And we learned in previous episodes that 3/3 is the same as 1. Oops. And 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/8 times 3/3 is 3/24. And since 3/3 is the same as 1, we know that 1/8 equals 3/24. Do a second one. So 2/3 equal 9. I'm going to show you a shortcut if you're comfortable with it. If not, we'll go back to this way. So the shortcut is you think 3 times something equal 9. What is that something? In your head you know it's 3. So if 3 is on the bottom, 3's got to be in the top. 2 times 3 is 6. If you're still not comfortable with that, it's fine to write it out. Times something equals something over 9. So 3 times something equal 9. Of course, that's 3. That's an easy one. And since this number has to be 1, I'm going to put a 3 on the top. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, let's do another one, and then y'all can try one on your own. 9/11 equals something over 66. This is going to be a big one. So first of all, we copy the first fraction. We know we've got to multiply it by another fraction that's going to be the same as 1. And so we think 11 times something equals 66. And I know a lot of you really like your times tables, your 11 times tables. So that's going to be 6. Since this fraction has to be 1, we also have 6 in the top. 9 times 6 is 54. So 9/11 is the same as 54/66. And now we're going to work on this one together. 4/5 equals something over 30. Okay, we're going to work this one ourselves. So 4/5 equals something over 30. And I want you to set this one up the long way.
Miss Haynes.
I'm coming, Dot. Okay, so fractions kind of getting you down a little bit, huh? Okay, so we have 4/5 times something. You did a great job setting it up. You wrote the original fraction, you wrote the times sign, you put a fraction bar, you put an equal sign, you put another fraction bar, and you knew the denominator had to be 30. So far, so good. So now what you've got to do is think of a number that multiplies by 5 that gives you 30.
Oh, that's easy. 5.
5? Well, 5 times 5 is 25. So can you think of a number that's a little bigger?
A little bigger. What about 7?
7. 5 times 7 is 35. That's too big. So we need bigger than 5, smaller than 7.
6.
Awesome. So I'm going to put in 6. Now, whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So what are we going to put in the top?
6.
Yep. And what does 6/6 make?
1.
Yep. So now we just have to multiply 4 times 6. What's 4 times 6?
4 times 6 is 24.
24. So we know that 4/5 times 6/6 is 24/30. So that means
Wow.
4/5 equal 24/30. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's amazing.
Okay, I think you know how to do fractions now. Good job.
Ah, thanks.
Bye, Dot.
Thanks, Mrs. Haynes.
You're
what
welcome.
would I do without you?
May even get some of Emily singing in the background.
Mom, are you going to be filming at all?
So now that we finished the last of the problems that we helped Dot with, we got 4/5 equal 24/30. That's all the lessons for this week, but I did want to review something that we've been working on for a few weeks just to make sure that you understand the proper protocol for it. So this is about finding the perimeter and area of rectangles. So I'm going to remind you of some formulas that we used before, and these are going to be our formula rules. So the first thing that we need to do is we write the formula, we substitute the known values including units, we solve the problem including units, and then if we need to continue solving, we can use more than one line. Okay? So find the perimeter and the area of the rectangle. So we'll do perimeter first. Perimeter is always capital P. And we know the formula for a rectangle and perimeter from an earlier lesson is 2L plus 2W. So I copy the formula, and that was line 1. Now I'm going to substitute in the known values including units. I know my length is 9 inches and my width is 4 inches. So I'm going to recopy the P again. That's important because it reminds us that it's perimeter. It's 2. The length is 9 inches. And that's what I meant. You put in the amount and the units. The units are inches plus 2. And by putting parentheses in, we don't even have to put a time sign. Because if you have a number and then something in parentheses, it automatically means time. W is 4 inches. We write P again to remind ourselves we're doing perimeter. 2 times 9 is 18 inches. Then the plus sign, we recopy it. 2 times 4 is 8. We keep the inches. 18 plus 8 is 26. So the perimeter is 26 inches. I know it was a lot of work. If you could probably look at it and say 9 plus 9 is 18, 18 plus 8 is 26, but it's important to have this process down for later math. Okay, now we're going to do the area, and this really turns into a whole different problem because it's a whole different formula. So, the area of a rectangle, that formula you used a lot over the years, is L times W. Notice the other one had a plus in it. This one has a times. So area equal. So we wrote our formula on line 1. Now we're going to substitute the known values, including units. The length was 9 inches. The width is 4 inches. And if you want to put a times sign there, you can, but you don't have to since we have the parentheses. This is where it gets kind of funny. 9 times 4 is 36. Inches times inches plus inches is just inches, but inches times inches is inches squared. And in this book, sometimes they write it 36 square inches. You can do it either way, okay? So line 1, line 2, line 3. And that's a wrap for this week. So let's see our class. See how they're doing. Zoom out. Oops, wrong way. So Dot looks a little bit more happy. So this is the end of week 30, and we've got a couple more weeks of school left, so I want you just to hang in there, and I miss you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye.